All right, we're going to call the June 24th, 2024 regular board meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. And with that, I want to welcome Amber to the board. We're glad to have you up here.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
This is kind of the official start of our new board year, so I'm glad to be up here with this group. Our second item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the May 28, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Board members, our first order of business is a financial statement.
Good afternoon, board members. I've provided the May 31st, 2024 financial statements and check register for your review. As of May 31, 2024, we have collected 106.9% of our budgeted ad valorem tax revenues compared to the 100.8% we received last year at this date. This equates to about $3.5 million over the original budget. In May, we earned $155,975 in interest income on our investments, and our total expenditures and transfers out in the general fund as of May 31 were 70.2% of the budget compared to 71.5% last year. In the 8th month of our fiscal year, with all things being equal, we would be at 66.6% of our budgeted expenditures, and we are a little above that due to some one-time annual expenditures. Our monthly financial statements and check registers are available for viewing on our website upon board approval, and all bank accounts have been reconciled as of May 31, 2024.
Courtney, what's that total investments earned on the interest income?
It's right around $1 million.
Good, thank you. Board members, I recommend approval of financial statement for May 2024.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the financial statements for May 2024. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Item 5 is consent items, and I recommend the board approve consent items that are related to disposal of board property, out-of-state field trips, out-of-state overnight field trips, and in-state overnight field trips.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve these consent items. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Under business, item A is pest control services. I recommend the board approve the bid on pest control.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the bid for the pest control services. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second. Board members, this is a bid we've not had in a few years, but contract is up on that, so we rebid and we've used Ox before in the past. So I'm pleased with their work.
All in favor of approving the pest control bid?
Item B, recommendation is to approve the contract for pest control services.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for pest control services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item C, I recommend the board approve change order number 1 for Vestavia Hills Elementary Dolly Ridge parking improvements.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve change order number 1 for Dolly Ridge parking improvements. Do I have a motion?
So,
Second? Second.
Board members, we approved this contract a few months ago for parking improvements. This is, I remind you, as part of the projects that the city has provided funding for. And it will improve the drive down into the soccer field area for Dolly Ridge. So it's a new parking and drive area. Part of the work was to make sure we get good drainage because there's a lot of fall into that area. As they've done the work in grading, there was obviously need to do some additional grade work, add a curb and gutter, which is most of the expense of this. But some of the cost is in rock. So you'll be familiar with this, but right to the left of the drive as you go down, there starts a really steep incline. Well, there's rock under there. So we got into it as we started moving around. And so that's the gist of what this is. But the grade work has effectively almost been done. It's really good. I think we're on progress to finish this year. The project came in under what we budgeted, so we had some room in the budget to do this.
All in favor of the superintendent's recommendation?
Item D, the recommendation is to approve the amendment to principal contract for Cynthia Eccles.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve an amendment for the principal contract for Cynthia Eccles. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Board members, D, E, and F line items are the same. When you approved the salary schedule in May, it came with an additional supplement for administrators earning an EDS degree. And since 2 of these principals don't start until July 1st, this is just an amendment to what was the contract you approved. July 1. This is just an amendment to those contracts for those who have the EDS.
All in favor of amending the principal contract for Cynthia Eccles?
Item E, the recommendation is to approve the amendment to principal contract for Susan McCall.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve an amendment to the principal contract for Susan McCall. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item F, recommendation is to approve amendment to principal contract for Bill Mann.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the amendment to the principal contract for Bill Mann. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item G, the recommendation is to approve a contract with Dr. Charles Mason for principal mentoring services.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve a contract with Dr. Charles Mason for principal mentoring services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'd like to speak to this one just for a moment. Last month, you approved a contract with Ms. Jennifer Brown as retiring assistant principal and just a fantastic leader who's going to be doing mentoring work with our assistant principals because we have several new this year. We have 4 new principals this year, and there's a new law in place effectively that requires mentoring for those principals with less than 2 years experience. The decision that I'm putting forth for you allows us to provide mentoring for all of our principals. And Dr. Mason will do that, Ms. Roselle, upon your approval will as well. And they're 2 very seasoned, accomplished administrators. But the whole idea for all of us is to lift our leadership capacity and growth and become even more effective than our current principals already are. So this is exciting.
All in favor?
Item H, recommendations to approve the contract with Tanya Roselle for principal mentoring services.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve a contract with Tanya Roselle for principal mentoring services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item I, recommendation is to approve the job description for a technical theater teacher position.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the job description for a technical theater teacher position. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Board members, the high school made a request for this, and based on budgeted income from rental of facilities and what we've been not getting because we don't have someone in this type role, we can essentially pay for the position. So I'm satisfied it pays for itself over the course of the year. It'd be a good ad for our arts department.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item J is a school incident report. This is a report that is referred to affectionately in our world as the SIR report. It goes to the State Department each year. It is a summary of parts of the disciplinary measures that take place in schools, the dispositions as well, what the consequences are, in other words. This is not a comprehensive list of all discipline in the district. It's only that and those things that are reportable to the state. And so you have a breakdown of that in the PowerPoint for you as well, and you have a report that we submit to the state. But we're required to give this out and provide it to the public each year, and just gives you a good synopsis of the disciplinary actions in the schools. So I'll entertain questions. There's no action for this, but I'll be glad to entertain questions. I will just note further that this kind of information is used in July when we're doing a lot of programming meetings with our administrative team on making sure that consistency is a priority for us across our schools, and that we are interpreting definitions the same way, the dispositions are consistent. So it's a working document we use to help us improve in that area for the following year. All right.
Thank you.
Item 7, I recommend the board approve the personnel items as submitted.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the personnel items as submitted. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No administrative reports tonight.
Yeah, twice time.
I did not have any comments.
We're now moving into the time of public comment. Consistent with our policy, the individual desiring to speak shall stand and give his or her name and their address. Presentation should be as brief as possible, and no one shall such address exceed 3 minutes. The speaker may make statements about their particular concern with school operations and programs. In public session, however, the board will not hear personal complaints against particular school personnel or against any person connected with the school system. Other means are provided whereby the board may consider and dispose of legitimate complaints involving individuals and employees within the school system. Further, the board does not typically respond to comments during public participation. Is there anybody who would like to speak to that? With that, do I have a motion to end our meeting? To adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.